Okay, so this morning on the way home from the gym, I just stopped by the gas station here at the roundabout in Alpine that I go to just about every day to grab a drink. And there's this kid that works, behind the till there. And young kid, clean cut, always has like a button up shirt, kind of clean cut, dirty blonde hair, probably about 19, 20 years old. Nice kid, really nice kid. Always say hi. I'll share a joke or something with him, and I ask how he's doing. And but I don't know his name. He doesn't know my name. Just we say hi, and talk a little bit. No big deal, just being friendly. And then today, I went in. Well, let me back up. About a week ago, I went in, and we started talking, and he was asking me questions and stuff, and he was telling me he had, that the night before he just got done seeing the new Avengers that just came out, and he went to like the midnight showing, and he was excited to tell me about it, and he starts asking me questions and stuff. We start talking about movies, and he asked me. He says, "So who's your favorite Avenger?" And it was just this like really sweet, innocent kind of conversation that I was not expecting to have, and certainly a question that I was not anticipating being asked. But I could kind of feel or sense that he felt some affinity for me or some closeness, something that made him feel comfortable talking to me, right? And then today, when I went back in, saw him again, and asked him, said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he just looked at me and said, "Well, I just got out of court." And I said, "Oh, did you get a ticket?" And he said, "No, I got a DUI." And then he looked at me and said, "Nah, I'm just joking." And he said, "I told my friends I got a DUI." And they looked at me and said, "You did?" And but then he proceeded to say, "No, it was for my little brother's custody hearing." And he proceeded to tell me that, it went okay, but what he wasn't expecting was how his mother's attorney would attack him and accuse him of, try to put the blame on him for abusing his little brother. And so he had to kind of withstand that attack and uphold himself in that situation that he was not anticipating and defend himself. And then he just proceeded to tell me a little bit about, his mother being, and he used words like rotten and destructive, and said that she abused his little brother, and about how his dad's been telling him he wants him to become a lawyer someday. And he said, but after today and the way that lawyer attacked me, I just saw that he had to turn off his morality switch and come after me for money because he was being paid. And I just told him, I said, that's really hard. How you doing? And we talked a little bit, and it just, and I left. I got my drink and I left, and I almost started tearing up when I got back in the truck, just feeling or thinking that, I had been, for that small moment, that maybe I had been an instrument in the Lord's hands to do His will, to help someone in need. And it was such a small thing for me to do, just to be there to listen, to validate his struggle. It was a tender experience for me, and one that I was not expecting. And one other thing I learned from this experience is that, I have been praying fervently, constantly, daily, to be useful in the Lord's hands, to be an instrument to do His work, and to know what His will is for me. And one thing that I learned through this experience was that we can't pick and choose how we want to be useful. When we come before the Lord and we say, I'm willing to do Thy will, I'm willing to be useful, I'm willing to serve, then He will use us where He needs us. Then He will allow us to be useful. And But we can't choose and plan or prepare necessarily the way in which we want to serve, the way in which we want to be useful. But if we are willing and desirous, that He will make use of us. And so it was a tender thing for me, and certainly a testimony strengthening experience for me of the Lord's love for all of His children and His desire for us to rise up out of our circumstances, out of the opportunities that we have, the many opportunities we have for self-pity or for distraction, and to stand up and to lean forwards and to look around us. And that if we do that, He will use us. And maybe, if we are fortunate, that He'll use us in a way that we can actually see and recognize our influence for good. And in so doing, not only serve others, but inspire ourselves. So I'm grateful for that. It was a sweet experience.